Welcome back to Mock Draft Madness Day 10, doing a mock draft every single day until the NFL draft on April 25th. As always, if you don't know ball and want to know ball, be sure to subscribe. Leave a like. Let me know in the comments your favorite and least favorite pick from this mock draft, as well as trade suggestions. Also, leave a like. Really appreciate it. Let's get right into it. This is the first mock that is post day one of free agency. So, for example, because of the Christian Wilkins deal, I really don't see the Raiders going interior defensive linemen. Because of Kirk Cousins signing with Atlanta, I don't see them going quarterback. So it kind of changes a little bit of what we're going to do here. I wouldn't say it's going to change much, but as free agency continues to unfold, we'll see more. Another one would be the Packers. I don't know if they're going to go safety. I think they may lean a little bit more corner. So we'll get right into it. I still think the Bears are going Caleb Williams. Now, Justin Fields was not traded today. And as the market gets thinner and thinner, it's going to be harder to find a place for him where you're going to get like really any value for him. I feel like at this point, you're lucky if you get a 5th round pick. And a report came out that they haven't actively been shopping Justin Fields. And I guess my thing is, I don't believe that report, and I'll tell you why. It just seems like there's been so much trade talk from like top reporters that like, why would they be talking about that if that wasn't the case? So I know they're probably waiting on Caleb's medicals after his pro day, which is March 20th. But at the same time, if you're going to move on from Fields, shouldn't any of the quarterback prospects be your choice? I don't know. This is very weird. And as things continue to develop, we'll go into that. But we have Caleb Williams at number 1. So now we have Washington, who had an interesting day in free agency. I know they signed I believe they signed their center. And then, I just got a report here. It looks like the Bengals are planning to release Joe Mixon, and Zach Moss is signing with the Bengals. So it's not going to really affect our first round mock for the Bengals. But just some little news here or there. It's like 9 o'clock Central Time. All right, so with Washington, I believe they are probably going to go Jane Daniels, and I'll tell you why I think they're going Jane Daniels here. So the Patriots also signed Jacoby Brissett today, and in my opinion, Jane Daniels is someone you're probably going to play right away. Drake May, I can definitely see them developing for a year. So my thought is the Patriots might have some feeling that they're going to have Drake May fall to them. And here's the thing. So I'm going to go Drake May here, possibly sit a year behind Jacoby Brissett and kind of build your roster from there. Now, you have the Arizona Cardinals on the clock at number 4. I think it's going to be Marvin Harrison Jr., and I don't really think it's going to be a question unless there's a team like the Vikings, who are really desperate right now for a quarterback. They don't really have a backup plan, whether that's going to be like Sam Darnold or like Jimmy Garoppolo. They don't really have a backup plan for a quarterback. So unless they want to give up a ton to move up to 4, which I don't think is really going to be like that much of a discussion, I think it's going to be Marvin Harrison Jr. here. And number 5 are the Los Angeles Chargers. So I think the Chargers are more willing to move back than the Cardinals. And I don't necessarily know if I buy the hype for the Chargers picking at 5. And I don't know if I buy the hype of JJ going at 5. So I believe it's probably going to be the Vikings or the Broncos possibly trading up to go get JJ. But I don't know if I should do the trade. I know the Chargers really want a tackle. At least that's from the reports I've been hearing. So I am going to do that swap then with the Vikings. And we'll just do, maybe like a 4th next year. So we're going to force that trade through. All right, so now the Vikings are going to take J.J. McCarthy. And until I'm kind of shown another option for the Vikings at quarterback, I think I got to keep mocking them J.J. Or unless they move up to 3 with the Patriots and they want to move back, because you're going to extend Justin Jefferson. Like, he's going to want to know the quarterback he's playing with. So I think they need to have a succession plan in place. and I think it's going to be J.J. McCarthy. So now we're sitting here at a very interesting spot. We have the New York Giants, who signed some O-linemen today. They made the trade for Brian Burns. I think it's got to be offense here, and I think it'll probably be Malik Neighbors out of the remaining receiver. Now we're at the Tennessee Titans. Interesting spot here. They signed Lloyd Cushenberry, the center, today. So they could. It seems like they're really trying to beef up that O-line. They got center. They got Peter Skronsky. You could go left tackle here, and then you have your whole left side of the line built out. You could go wide receiver here. I feel like they might go like Hollywood Brown, Calvin Ridley in free agency, and you get your left tackle here with Joe Alt at 7. So now we have an interesting spot because the Atlanta Falcons, they signed Kirk Cousins, and they already kind of have a loaded offense. So what do? I think they are probably going to go edge rusher here. And I know they could go edge rusher, they could go interior, or they could go corner. I know, I think the best action would probably go Dallas Turner here. I think giving them defense would be the best option. At number 9, if they are going to take Caleb Williams, it's probably going to be Rome Odunze. At number 10, I think the Jets are going to be players in these guard and tackle markets over the next couple days, but that should not shy away from them taking a tackle right here. I'm going to give them Olu Fashanu. I've been giving them to Lisa Fuaga, but I'm going to mix it up a little bit today. It's still the tackle position, and that leaves Talise Fuaga here for the Los Angeles Chargers to put him on the other side of Rashawn Slater, and it works out perfectly for them. This trade allows them to move up and pick out, allows them to move up or move back, still get a good tackle, and collect draft assets. Now we're sitting here with the Denver Broncos. We had an interesting spot here. I don't remember them signing. Oh, they signed a safety today. So you got kind of that cornerback room. You could give them, Byron Murphy, but I'm going to give them Jared Verse. Number 13, we know the Raiders are no longer going to be going interior defensive lineman. So that leaves us with interest. It leaves Byron Murphy on the board a little bit longer. And I don't, it's really interesting. They could do a lot of things here. Honestly, giving them a corner would be really, really nice. I don't really think they need a pass catcher. They drafted Michael Mayer, so I'm not going to go Brock Bowers here. I am going to give them Quinyon Mitchell. I think Quinyon could be the first cornerback off the board, and it'll be interesting to see actually where he falls. I was having this discussion kind of in the comments the other day. The corner class is the class that I'm most unsure about. I have no clue where these guys are going to go, how many are going to go in the first, and kind of who goes first, who goes second, who goes third. It is very, very confusing. So the Saints, they need tackle, and with the top 3 off the board, it kind of leaves them in a spot where you could go J.C. Latham. It's a little bit of a reach. Let's see who's interested in trading up here. So we got a lot of teams that are interested in trading up. I don't necessarily know. You could go D-line if they want to. I'm going to give them Latu, give them an edge off the edge. But anyway, yeah, they need D-line help and they need trenches help. I think Latu could be a good addition for the Saints. And at the end of the day, you're getting the third best edge on the board here at 14. They're all first-round talents. Depends where you can possibly trade back. I don't know who I would do with the trade back at this point. But now we are at number 15. I am going to go Nate Wiggins to the Colts, and this is why. The Colts really, really value athletic players, and Nate Wiggins is one of the most athletic players you're probably going to get. He is just super, super fast. So interested to see. My only issue is he's super, super skinny, and you could look at it like, oh, well, Emmanuel Forbes got pushed around, and that's what I'm going to kind of stick on. But with the Colts way of drafting, I think they're in the market for a corner, and I think Nate Wiggins could be the guy, especially with that 4.29 that he ran at the combine. The Seattle Seahawks signed Leonard Williams today, so I think I'm going to stay away from the D-line, and they kind of do still need that interior. Troy Fautanu makes a lot of sense for them. So now we have the Jacksonville Jaguars, who signed Gabe Davis today. They signed Rasul Douglas, and they signed someone else. It was a crazy day in free agency. So at number 17... they're in an interesting spot. Oh, they signed Mitch Morse, so they don't need either of their guards. They don't need a center. And, PFF will probably update this today. But with that being said, I'm going to give them Terrion Arnold at 17. Hopefully he can be that CB1 for them. At number 18, Brock Bowers to the Bengals. It's just too easy, guys. I don't want to stick on this one for too long. The Rams have really built up their O-line with signing their guards. So I am going to give them Jackson Powers-Johnson, a little bit of a different pick, but they signed Kevin Dotson, and then they signed, I believe it was one of the, I want to say Graham Glasnow. It was one of the Lions guards. So if you get one of the centers in there, your interior is completely built up. So I really like that for the Rams. At number 20, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think Cooper DeJean is a very easy pick for them. At number 21, we have the Miami Dolphins. They are in an interesting position here because they just let Christian Wilkins walk. So I am going to give them Byron Murphy. A little help on the interior. At number 22, we have the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay, so if we're looking here, we got a J.C. Latham, we got a Marius Mims, and we got Graham Barton. Okay, these are the top players on the board. You could go tackle. I believe Cam Jurgens is going to slide in to center. You also have extended Landon Dickerson. So maybe you could go Graham Barton here, a guy that can play any part of the interior O-line. I don't know. What should we do here? I know they do need wide receiver help a little bit after that 3. So I have not yet given them a wide receiver. Let me give them Brian Thomas Jr. and see what he can do with Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown as they brought in Saquon Barkley today. Number 23, I have the Houston Texans on the board. They let Jonathan Grenard walk. We don't have any edges here. If they sign some guys today on the D-line, but I just think, with the way that they're going, Jerzon Newton is probably the best option for them. At number 24, we have the Houston Texans. The Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys. Okay, so now we're here. They let Tony Pollard go. You're not going to go first-round running back here. I think realistically they should probably go tackle. I know J.C. Latham is a right tackle, but I think he could probably play left. You have Marius Mims as well. I think I'm going to give them J.C. Latham because I think he can be a really, really good player in the NFL and not someone that is going to be a huge risk. So now we have the Green Bay Packers. Okay, so I think there's a chance they probably go Graham Barton now because I believe Runyon signed with another team today. I forget the team. I was watching free agency all day, so there's been 80 or 90 signings, and I can't keep track of all of them. But I think Graham Barton would be a good addition here to play on any of those spots on the interior of the O-line. At number 26, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are in an interesting spot. They just traded Jamel Dean to the Detroit Lions. So I think there is a world where they take a cornerback here. So you could look at Peyton Wilson at linebacker, but at the end of the day, I think kind of the most pressing need will be corner. So it depends on whether you want Kool-Aid McKinstry or TJ Tampa. I am going to give them Kool-Aid McKinstry. At number 27, we have the Arizona Cardinals. They beefed up their D-line a little bit today. So I am going to give them a tackle here. Whether that's, I think I'm going to give them Amarius Mims to pair with Paris Johnson Jr. You have your bookend tackles for the next 10 to 15 years, and Kyler Murray is not running for his life. I believe they also signed an interior offensive lineman today. So now we have the Buffalo Bills at number 28. They have had an interesting kind of last couple of days with all the cap clearing, which I think they're planning on making a move soon. They brought Deion Dawkins back as well. So now, who do we go with? They don't. This is a tough one, guys. I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't think they do need. Well, they do kind of need a safety a little bit, but I think wide receiver is a little bit more pressing. So I am going to give them Adonai Mitchell out of Texas. At number 29, we have the Detroit Lions. I don't think I've done any trades this mock, actually. No, I did one trade. I had the Chargers in Minnesota. So now we have the Detroit Lions on the board. They definitely could use... See, Zach Frazier is appealing, but I believe Frank Ragnow is still there. They do need someone that's more interior, but if you look at the IOL, it's just like after Zach Frazier, there's a huge drop-off, and I don't know if I love the D-line available. So they did sign Marcus Davenport on the edge. So I guess, and they traded for Jamel Dean. You know what? I'm going to give them TJ Tampa because I think that really rounds out their cornerback room. And I still think even though they got Dean today for a third-round pick, they could still be looking to beef up that cornerback room. And I don't think there's going to be a cornerback kind of that caliber for them in round 2. At number 30, we have the Baltimore Ravens. And I'm trying to remember who they signed. I know they have interest in Henry. They definitely do need a wide receiver, but I don't necessarily love the guys here to pair with Zay Flowers. Let's see. D-line. I don't know. You know what? I am going to give them Chop Robinson and see what they can do with him. At number 31, we have the San Francisco 49ers. They need O-line and cornerback. I believe they made a couple D-line signings. I don't necessarily know if they need a center. They're kind of more looking for a right tackle. I think Guyton played left tackle, so give me Guyton, and you can move him over. And at worst comes to worst, he can kind of develop under Trent Williams and move over kind of when it's his time to retire. So now we're at the Kansas City Chiefs. They need tackle. They do need tackle, and they need wide receiver help. But it's kind of weird because I think they're going to sign like Darnell Mooney, but I still think they're going to draft a guy. And they do need D-line. They just extended Chris Jones. I think I'm still going to go with any of these guys. See, for the Chiefs, I think really any of these guys are in play. So I'm going to give them Keon Coleman, even though he's fallen more and more out of the first round. So thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you don't know ball and want to know ball, be sure to subscribe, leave a like. Let me know in the comments your favorite and least favorite pick from this mock draft. Mock Draft Madness Day 10 of doing a mock draft every day until the NFL draft. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great rest of your night.